Hey everyone, I'm Jimmy Rhodes.
And I'm Christina Guerrero, and today we are cracking open our passports and expanding our horizons with our special show taking us around the world.
One of the challenges of living on this earth with billions of people is we have a lot to learn about each other, and we have to try to do it without any judgment.
That's right, so we found a fascinating way to start that process in Denmark called the Human Library.
Right, instead of checking out books, you check out people with titles like unemployed, refugee, or police officer. Then you meet them and go deep on topics you wouldn't normally hit.
Yes, the library that teaches us not to judge a book by its cover is our featured story at the top of the list.
Welcome to the Human Library, where you can check out people instead of books.
People that have personal experiences with issues that we maybe normally don't have access to have volunteered to sort of be an open book for you. We could go and borrow them off the bookshelf and sit with a stranger for half an hour and hear their story and ask them all the questions you might have.
Ronnie Abergale created this nonprofit in Copenhagen back in 2000, and now the Human Library organization is active in more than 80 countries across 6 continents.
You can do it in libraries, colleges, community centers, festivals, even workplaces. We go and help corporate leaders create more inclusive workplaces.
Every Human Library has volunteer books with titles that represent their stories.
Could be bipolar, transgender person, a police officer, a politician, someone who has experienced being homeless.
Each conversation between the reader and the book is an opportunity to unjudge someone.
We all judge, and that's nothing to be ashamed of. We should only be ashamed of resisting giving people the opportunity to be unjudged.
That half-an-hour conversation may not completely change your mind, but hopefully a conversation with someone you might not normally talk to can make you start to open your mind.
It's no universal truth. It's their truth. It's their story. Use it the best way you can. Even if you sat down with a Biden voter or Trump supporter, you're going to find other things that you have common ground with. And I think we need to mirror our humanity more to build strong relations across the community.
Each Human Library event is held with books from that community who defy the stereotypes that surround them. So as a reader, when you attend a Human Library and check out a book, you're opening yourself up to the diversity that surrounds you. Because if we silo ourselves with only people who look and think like us, then we can't truly learn to respect others.
And it's those relations we need to strengthen. The ability to relate to each other and accept our differences, respect people's right to be different. You got nothing to lose by reaching out. You got everything to lose by not doing it. Because all you have left is your own imagination, what you think you know about somebody else. No real connection, no real ability to relate, and no empathy or understanding.
You can find an upcoming Human Library event near you by going to their website, humanlibrary.org. There are also permanent Human Library Book Depot locations all over the world, including in U.S. cities like New York, LA, Chicago, and Fort Wayne.
Drop in on the Human Library and pick up a lesson here and there about your neighbor.
The Human Library is at the top of the list.
Every country has rules and regulations for things like driving too fast or stealing stuff, but there are some laws out there that are just plain bizarre. We're looking at some of the world's weirdest laws. Let's take a trip around the globe to learn some very interesting laws on the books.
I've been to over 45 countries now throughout my life. I may have broken some of these rules unknowingly, but hopefully my research will help you not to.
To learn about some of the world's wackiest laws, we turn to journalist Ashley Banfield. First, if you're on a train in France with your pet snail, you gotta buy it a ticket.
If your snail is under 13 pounds, you're going to have to pay about $7.50 US for a ticket. And that snail's going to have to ride with you, and you're going to have to make sure that it's safe, and so are the other passengers.
Next, if you attend a wedding in Cadiz, Spain, leave your rice on your plate.
No matter how excited you are for the nuptials, don't you go throwing rice, because that's against the law. They decided long ago that It's dangerous for people. They could trip, especially the bride and groom, and it's not so good for the pigeons either.
And sorry to burst your bubble with this next one, but it is illegal to chew gum in Singapore.
So is selling it, making it, or distributing it? It's because people used gum to mess up the commuter rail system, and it costs like $150,000 a year to clean it up. So instead, the Singapore government decided to pass those costs on to you by fining you if you're in infraction.
Finally, you should probably suit up to visit the UK Parliament, but one kind of suit may land you behind bars.
When in the UK, of course, a visit to Parliament has got to be high on your list. But one word of advice, do not wear your suit of armor, because there's still a law on the books from the year 1313 prohibiting it. But I guess they decided, since it's really not all the rage right now to be wearing armor, they didn't need to wipe it off the books.
Now we know how to mind our P's and Q's around the world with these wacky international laws.
While the pandemic was brutal to many businesses around the world, it actually revived some, including one in Italy, where the need to social distance rekindled a vintage way to sell vino. Jackie Denker looks at Italy's legendary wine windows.
Move over curbside pickup. We are heading to Florence, Italy to talk about wine windows. Historic details of the city recently brought back due to COVID.
It's just one more interesting feature to this wonderful city.
To learn more, we turned to co-founder of the Wine Window Association, Mary Forrest.
I love Italy. It's a wonderful place to live.
First of all, what are wine windows?
Wine windows are these very small openings in the walls of homes and palaces in downtown Florence, but also in other cities in Tuscany. They are about 1 foot wide and about 1.5 feet tall, and they were built so that the producers of wine who lived in the homes where they were could sell their wine directly to their customers without opening their front doors.
She says this made it possible for people to sell wine while keeping their homes safe and avoiding the mess of customers. And the history of these windows goes way back.
The earliest wine windows were built in around 1530, 1540. When a client wanted to buy some wine, they would go and knock on the little wooden door.
Mary says the patron would pass an empty bottle through the opening, get it filled, exchange money, and they'd be on their way. And much like the COVID pandemic, when the bubonic plague hit Italy in 1629, these windows came in handy for social distancing.
When the customer paid for the wine, they put the coins into a small dish that had vinegar in it.
The idea being that vinegar would help
sterilize the money before touching it,
which was very ahead of their time. Plus, they even kept their distance.
There was kind of a natural tendency on the part of people to stay distant from each other during a period of plague.
These relics were in use for 300 years, shut down, and now hundreds have made a comeback, bringing us to the wine windows of today.
Almost every block has one.
A lot of them are not in use, but Mary and her colleagues hope to catalog all that remain and to
tell people they are of historical importance and to protect them.
And now that we can travel again, we can walk the winding streets and admire the windows, or even stop at a few to get some coffee, wine, or ice cream.
We hope everybody comes to Florence and looks for the wine windows.
Opening doors to the past with wine windows.
You know, some of the most exciting tastes come from around the world when foods cross-pollinate with each other. The latest example, Asian fusion has turned one of America's favorite carnival foods into a trending treat. We are trying Korean corn dogs.
Korean culture is everywhere in America now. From K-pop like BTS on the music charts to dramas like Squid Game on Netflix. And now, Korean hot dogs are all over social media.
We do call them hot dogs.
Oh, we call them hot dogs. So am I calling them already the wrong name?
Well, only in Korea we call them hot dogs. We sort of took the original fair food that is just plain corn dogs, and then we change it so that if it's our taste buds.
Jawan Lee, manager of Two Hands Korean Corn Dogs in Avondale, Arizona, fills us in on what makes this Korean street food so uniquely irresistible.
It's kind of like the perfect fusion.
Well, I'm ready to get my 2 hands on one of these hot dogs.
Nice.
Starting with the core, which isn't just your traditional frank.
You can go with your basic beef.
Basic beef, or my favorite is spicy beef.
Or you can do a half beef, half cheese.
Half mozzarella, half cheddar, or just all mozzarella.
Oh, just that cheesy, ooey gooey goodness.
Up next, the dip and topping. These corn dogs are dipped in a rice flour mixture rather than a cornmeal-based batter. This difference makes them super fluffy. Bonus, the batter gets dipped with the topping of your choice.
Our bestseller, like a potato dog, which has like little French fry cubes like all around it.
Or the crispy dog, which is covered in rice cereal, and the spicy dog, covered in hot Cheeto dust.
They are flavorful, and we definitely make it super palatable for everybody to try.
Final step to making a Korean corn dog, the seasoning.
I would say our signature seasoning would be our two-hand seasoning, which is like a cheese, garlic, and herb blend.
Or cover your corn dog in sugar for a taste of the savory sweet corn dog traditionally found in South Korea. Top with a spicy or sweet sauce, and these dogs will have you howling for more.
That ooey gooey goodness. Oh my gosh, amazing.
Giving an American classic an international flair.
The team at Guinness World Records is always looking for a new generation of people taking things to the next level. And lately, they've seen a lot of folks breaking new ground. Teresa Strasser shares a few incredible world records. Hey, Teresa.
Thank you. These folks recently met up with Guinness World Records to prove why they are officially amazing. Coming in at number 1, Michael Manning's restoration of the world's longest car.
26 wheels. It could probably hold up to about 75 people if we wanted to put them in it. Later on today, we're going to land a helicopter on it.
It measures just over 100 feet.
It has a putting green. It has a pool.
He bought it at auction, brought it to Florida, and made the car that originally set the record, that was back in the 80s, even longer than it was before it fell into disrepair.
And today we've beaten the record by a fraction, but it is still longer than it was originally.
And like back in its day, it is sturdy enough to withstand the weight of a helicopter. This is officially amazing. Just imagine how much room you would need to turn that thing. At number 2, a family who holds the record for most siblings with albinism.
It's amazing, achieving the Guinness World Record, finally that uniqueness that we were born with.
The siblings' Pakistani-born parents both have albinism and went on to have 6 children who also have albinism.
It is a condition that both parents have to carry the gene for it to present itself in the offspring.
Their condition causes siblings to face adversity growing up, but they hope the award proves being different does not have to hold you back.
Perhaps our story will inspire others with disabilities or even able-bodied people who don't have any disabilities to have hope and to believe and to go and get your dream.
And third on a list of recent record holders comes from the Harlem Globetrotters, who set 18 new Guinness titles this year.
What's up, it's Thunder, and I'm about to set the world record for the longest bounce shot. Watch this.
That was 1 out of the 18 they set, 22 attempted in total. Another insane record setter, the farthest basketball hook shot, over 74 feet. They make those stunts look so easy. And those were some of the latest and greatest in Guinness World Records. Lots more to come on the list. Stay with us.
Hey YouTube, Jimmy Rhodes from The List, and I know you're right in the middle of watching, but I just wanted to pop in and remind you to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss 1 minute of The List. All right, now back to the show. We're back. If you're stuck at home, you can still learn about the world on television. And one of the latest shows bringing an international experience, Pachinko, told in 3 languages. The small screen version of the best-selling book is earning rave reviews, so we're going in for a closer look on the hot list. Foreign language shows are booming.
In this show, I really wanted to make people feel something that felt honest and not manipulated.
Unveiling the first trilingual series shot across the globe on Apple TV Plus are the creative genius and cast of Pachinko. Starting off with the inspiration for the series, Min Jin Lee's 2017 best-selling novel.
We always said that we wanted to make sure that this was a story that was beyond the history that we all know.
Epic in scope and intimate in tone, Pachinko takes us through 4 generations searching for identity and success.
We want to tell a story about people, real people and their real experiences.
거기 가면 어떻게 될지는 얘기해줬어?
지가 밤낮으로 일해가 손톱이 다 부러지고 부족한 거 하나 없이 키울 겁니다.
Up next, the amazing talent that made the show a reality.
The people that were cast were just incredible, and specifically Minha.
I tried to find the connections between Sonja and myself, and the process was to ask a lot of things to my grandmothers because she was actually living in that era.
This star-studded show also features the actress Yoon Yoo-young, who won an Oscar for her performance in Minari, along with the global superstar Lee Min-ho. And finally, what to expect from this multifaceted tale of human resilience interwoven with real events in history.
Every country has their own history. Sometimes it's beautiful, but sometimes it's ugly.
The show is emotionally resonant. I think it's a universal conversation about family. It's about multiple generations and how the people who come before us, we carry them with us.
아가 생길 기다. 꼭 버티낼 기다.
It's a family over generations, and they are intercut with each other.
It's incredibly ambitious. The scale of the storytelling and how many generations we follow.
I've always wanted to do something this profound.
An epic page-turning story making its way to the small screen on the hot list. We'll be right back. Next, we're learning how to live like a Parisian. That's coming up.
It's your life, it's your list. We're celebrating Pride Month. Go to thelisttv.com to learn more.
Welcome back. All right, the last stop on our worldwide tour is France. Netflix's Emily in Paris is making a lot of us wish we could spend time in the City of Light. So we'll make a quick visit with lifestyle tips to feel a bit like a Parisian.
Paris is known for the Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, and its rich history. And if you've fantasized about being a Parisian but can't make the transatlantic flight, well, no worries. We spoke with Muriel Giuliano, author of French Women Don't Get Fat, to learn how to live like a Parisian wherever we are. And it starts with slowing down.
Flâner means loitering, walking very slowly, taking your time, no rush, no schedule. We take our time because we have a different frame of reference. For us, work is not a priority in our life. Family and friends are. So they come first, and everything revolves around that.
So she says, don't fully book yourself. Take time to relax.
And we always make fun of people who are workaholics and all that. We call them, it's a minister's agenda. My God, 8 o'clock Zoom, 10 the office, no. That's not living, that's like, forget it.
Next, embrace mealtime, because here in the States,
most people don't want to sit for hours over a meal, or even 20 minutes. People would eat at their desk in 2-3 minutes while working.
But in Paris,
we eat very slowly in terms of chewing and pausing because we talk so much. Between a bite, you put your fork and knife down and you chit-chat and you philosophize and you debate and you discuss. You sit down to eat and you take your time and you don't have your cell phone next to you. That's a no-no.
Her third tip, simplify your wardrobe.
We're all about, less is more and quality over quantity. We don't have closet with, 50 dresses. First of all, because we have very small closets. We try to buy 1 or 2 quality pieces, like a nice jacket. And then we wear leggings, we wear t-shirts, and we put a scarf on our head.
And they like to stand out.
It can be a little necklace, it can be just a little thing. But we know how to mix and match.
We're adopting the French lifestyle thanks to these tips.
What I wouldn't give for a trip to Paris right about now.
Why travel all that way? You can get French fries at the drive-thru, French toast for breakfast, see French bulldogs at the dog park.
Yes, but France has that certain je ne sais quoi.
I don't know what that means.
Also, French fries are from Belgium. Side note. Hey guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us and watching The List. Give us a thumbs up if you liked the show, and make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss one episode of The List. And over here are a couple more videos just for you.